Might as well make sure that you have your geeking out ready also, because I already have mine ready.
It's probably silence.
I just got a LinkedIn job offer notification for being a digital producer for the NFL.
What?
But the LinkedIn notification.
Weird.
The NFL is looking for a digital producer. We think you're a perfect fit. You've obviously not seen my work.
Hey, at least it's not her shoes. We've
At
seen
first,
your
I almost
YouTube videos and we love your content. It's word for word for with every other gaming email I get.
once you start recording, I got to tell you about your new video too. It's something positive though.
My video, particularly?
Your latest one, yeah, when you put out today.
Wow. Color temperature on my camera is like super orange. Okay. Whew.
You got the Oompa Loompa filter on.
the Oompa filter.
It's just a really warm color tone.
I just need blue in the background, but I don't have any other lights on. Oh.
Balance out that warm and cool. Warm versus cool. One of these days I'll figure out lighting for my office space.
I need a. My daughter was watching my video from yesterday or something like that. She just got home from a really long trip. I was like, "Oh, you're watching a video? That's fun." And I looked and I'm like, "I really need a haircut." But I hate getting a haircut because I never know what to do with my hair.
Comb it. Put a hat on, hide it.
I should. At least then I blended more. Since I can't have a beard, I could at least match in the headgear department.
I don't like wearing hats anymore, but the only reason I do is to help cover up the power alleys right here. Just, I mean, it's bad. When I let my hair grow really long over the year, this last year, it was kind of nice feeling like I had hair, like a full head of hair again. Even though it was really kind of like smoke and mirrors, I was able to comb it in a way that you couldn't tell I had any bald spots. It was pretty nice. Half my family didn't recognize me though. Actually, that might be another positive. All right, since Wes already started streaming,
Indeed.
so I didn't know.
Indeed.
You guys ready? I don't have anything fancy
I'm ready.
today. Okay.
Are you all ready? Ready already? We're ready.
Ready. And to shave it off, I haven't shaved my head in years, and my wife hates it too. So once I lose it, I'm talking to Domicile Artisan in the chat. Yeah. Well, once this gets really thin, I'll just bick the whole thing and be done with it. But I'm not quite there yet, so I'm gonna hold on a little bit longer.
We'll have to do it at the same time. How's that?
Actually, it'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a charity benefit thing. So
Yeah.
I don't even have enough to give to like Locks of Love. I mean, it's rubbish at that point.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe knit the tiniest of sweaters out of it.
Since I don't have to go into an office, I've thought about going blue again. I was like, that would make me stand out in my videos a lot. Also make me look like a gamer.
That's true.
Because that's what they do.
Like Ninja.
Like Ninja. Yeah.
If you're next to a Ninjago video, do like a crossover.
Oh my gosh, Ninjago. Yeah. That's a conversation in and of itself right now.
Yep.
Especially amidst this 30-day challenge.
Well, let's go ahead and get into it then.
All right, let's do it.
What's up, Internet? You are listening to the Making Geeks podcast, a podcast for makers, families, and geeks.
What's up?
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you?
Good evening.
So we are day 10.
Day
if
10.
I can read a calendar correctly.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going so far? Because I've already had 2 fails for videos, although they're halfway done. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them complete for a video in the next couple of days. But I have a little bit of content out, but not as much as the both of you. The both of you are doing pretty well.
Donovan's killing it. Let's just put that out there. He's killing it. Why don't you normally do this? Is the next question. Because clearly you found like a little groove there, and I'm not the only one that thinks so. So.
No, I'm in complete agreement too. In fact, every new video that I see of yours, I'm like, I got to do better. You know, I got to up my game for like some of my shots, and it's tough. But you're doing great, Donovan.
I have to admit it's been fun. When I finally decide on what I want to shoot for that day, and I get into the process of filming and talking to the camera and editing and all that kind of stuff, I have a lot of fun. It's great. I'm very happy in those moments. And then I post it online. And then I get very, very sad for the rest of the day.
We at least have that in common.
I think your videos are picking up though. I think you're gonna. I think they are. But maybe that's just comparison. Maybe that's just the comparison of the travesty of my numbers, but.
Well, I mean, it's as of right now, it's all a numbers thing, right? Can we agree that that's what this is?
Yes.
Because we're doing this because we want to reinvigorate our channel, and apparently the algorithm is not favoring quantity. Yeah,
it's totally ignoring it.
I think we need to be a little bit more patient, though. I think you're gonna see a bigger after effect.
Like we're a third of the way through this, but still, every video that I put out, I have so much hope and anticipation and cross your feet. Like, oh, I can't wait for people to watch this. This is gonna be so good, and then nobody watches it.
I mean, look, I shot digital fire out of my friggin' hand.
Yeah,
and that didn't do anything. Like I got like 100 views. That's it.
It's rough. It's hard because I am so emotionally invested into this now. Because every day I put so much work into this now. Not that I'm complaining about the work. Like I said, while I'm doing it, I am really enjoying the process. I'm having fun with this, and I feel like I've found. Different way, though.
You're putting out content every day, but you're not putting out content every day that most of your watchers are used to seeing, because it's not a build a day; it is a video a day.
It is true.
Which is a big shift, so that
audience,
you know you're forcing an interesting change right now, and we've seen a lot of makers go through this, and it takes a while for things to come back up, but they eventually do. So,
and again, it's that Ninjago filter that's killing me.
But maybe that's a good thing too.
I think mine is the K40 filter, and that's killing me.
It's funny. I checked my stats right before we came on here. I've lost 380 subscribers in the last 4 days, and I'm just like, how? This is, and it's crazy because I'm not even getting those numbers on my videos. The people aren't watching my videos enough to then unsubscribe from my channel.
But you keep mentioning the subscribers, though. I mean, we all know that doesn't really matter.
No. I know, but it is a metric you have to consider.
Yeah, for your award in a sense.
Yeah.
But have you seen a change in your view numbers?
Yeah, they've gone down.
I
got more views on my videos before I started this 30-day challenge, because you look at my my views and it's like bloop, and it peaks back up in here when I put the I can't even remember the Ninjago Oni mask.
Yeah.
And then it trails down a little bit, and then every time you upload a video on your analytics, it has that little icon on the bottom that says, hey, you uploaded a video on this day and this day. And every day I upload the video, it's like a downward slope. It is so depressing.
I think it's going to be like a crypto chart where it shoots down and then it shoots it back up.
I hope so. We have 20 more days of this, and I'm getting desperate. I don't want to have to do a Ninjago project a day for the next 20 days, but I am
Oh
almost
my
at
God,
that
could you
point.
imagine if you did though?
I am almost at that point that I'm just like, I have 20 days to make this work. Like, I just, I have to make it work. I have to
Just
figure
make
something
sure
out.
that in every thumbnail you have a picture of something Ninjago in it. Speaking of thumbnails, I think the thumbnail for the video you put out today is your best ever. One says inspiration on the top.
With my bed head everywhere.
No makeup, bedhead, and just like inspiration, that morning light. I think it's fantastic.
I didn't know what to do for today's
Hey,
thumbnail.
it made me click on it.
Okay,
I'm like,
that's
what is
good.
this? What is
Hey, it
this
worked.
about?
It's about being inspired while you're sleeping. I figured it was an appropriate screen grab.
And Wes,
Because it's
I've
hard
loved
to
your
even take pictures of myself now because I'm not good at taking pictures of myself. I've found out. So it's easier for me to like get a screen grab out of the video than it is for me to try and deet and then run to position and then pose. So it's been interesting. Been fun. How have you guys felt about this whole process and everything that's been going on the last 10
Before we
days?
enter that, Wes, I've loved your last couple of videos too. I think they've been great.
Thanks.
The story about the robot
Yeah.
I thought was perfect.
Thanks.
I loved it, and the fact that it included the actual fixing of the robot in the video and the story. I've had 3 videos planning to do something similar for a couple years, and I have not gotten around to them yet. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about doing one of them maybe next week. So I'm going to be out of town next week.
Mm.
I'm hoping I can do it kind of like from the road a little bit. Yeah, I loved it. I
Oh,
thought it was
thanks,
great.
man.
And
Yeah.
your AR one, of course, is fantastic because it's
So-
magic. It's like a Doctor Strange spell right there.
Yeah. There's a lot of potential there. It's unfortunate I'm not a programmer because I like struggle just to get just enough to do what I can do and make it look like I know what I'm doing. If I was a programmer, it would be way more off the chain than it is because I'm just like muddling through. Like I'm just a really good Googler, and that's like the solution to me programming pretty much anything. Like
So,
even
re-
today.
So the
remind-
secret to being an IT professional.
Well, yeah, sure.
Remind me what you're using to generate that. Are you using Adobe Aero?
No, I'm using Unity, the video game engine,
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. I know you've told me
Yeah.
before. I forgot. Okay.
and it's a plugin called Vuforia, and it's specifically for AR stuff. And I just happen to be capturing the output on OBS just to redirect it back out to Twitch. The trickiest thing I've had to do on there so far is to make it so that it is accurately displaying your follower count, because it doesn't like, at least from what my experience so far, it has difficulty accessing files. Like the Unity engine, when you're running the game, whatever files you're referencing, it like locks them, and
I get it,
it
yeah.
prevents access. So there's a text file that like says the name of the last follower, like a literal TXT file, and it'll like hold on to it. And if you try to edit it, even if you hit save, it'll just like ignore it and not even do anything. So I had to figure out a way to allow it to have
It's
that
like a refresh. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I
And
know what you're
I had to
talking
use
about,
like
exactly.
the smoke. I had to use like a third-party program, a super hacky way to like allow it to do it behind the scenes, and it's just like super annoying. And George actually helped me with it. This is probably over a year, probably 2 years ago. He helped me a little bit with it, and I took the rest of the way. But there's a lot of potential there. It is really cool. I enjoy it.
It sounds like there should be some a live database plugin that it should be able to read on the fly.
Yeah. Because I'm using another. In order to get it to work with Twitch, there's a program called called Stream Labels, I believe it's called, and it's any sort of trackable information like your last follower, like the top cheerer, the highest, like any trackable data about your users and stuff within Twitch, it generates a text file for it. So you end up with like a folder with like 60 different text files that it's tracking, and you just choose which ones to access. So like normally, like when you run OBS, you can add a text source and reference that text file. So that's how people end up with like, you know, the follower down here in the corner, and then like the latest subscriber here in this corner, because it's dynamically looking at a text file. So I was using that same idea just within OBS, or within Unity instead of OBS, and it just kind of, it's a little tricky. But the webcam part I thought was really cool. Once I got that working, that was like a super cool, fun boost of energy for me. Like, oh man, my own picture is like texture mapped to a plane within the video game itself, and it was really cool. And as far as the robot video, yeah, I've had that robot staring at me up here for years now, and I just wanted to make a simple video using NinjaFlex as a material, because I've owned it for a couple years. I never made one. I made the little
bendable,
the flexible
the
filament,
bendy stuff, right?
yeah. So like I have like these Legos. I printed these like a couple years ago of NinjaFlex that I'm squeezing here, and they were like my test bed to see if I could even do it with my Prusa, and it worked great. And then I just never got around to it, just like a lot of these ideas. And I intended for that to be a quick, easy video, like for this challenge. And then as I'm making it, I'm like, there's another story in here, because I can't do anything friggin' simple, and it puts me like that much further behind. So now I'm like, I think I'm like four days behind. I'm 4 days behind though. And it doesn't help that was it last night? What's today? No, 2 nights ago, I had
Thursday.
to pull a double shift at my children's swim meet that they had. I usually cook burgers and dogs. I'm like the grill master guy, and this is like a huge, like 8 or 10 knob grill, right? And I think I cooked like 170 burgers and probably like almost 100 hot dogs, and I was there for way too long. And then Samantha went during one of her like swims. Her pool cap came off and sunk to the bottom, and they're not allowed to get it till after the end of the entire event. So she had to wait till all these kids that were like higher than her age range.
You had to wait too.
Yeah, which means I was her ride, and so I had to wait too. And I'm just like, and I get home finally like 10:30, 11 o'clock or something, because we went to get ice cream afterwards because I worked for so long, and she did a great job as well. And I was just dead. Like I just couldn't. So it's just like circumstances that, and also I had technical issues too that were preventing me from uploading or retrieving data that I uploaded, because I'm doing all my shooting for the most part with my phone, and it dynamically updates it and uploads it to Google Photos, which is usually fine. It's a good quality image, but then for some reason, some of the videos I think they were just too big on my phone, and it was just like basically like choking the entire connection and preventing videos that were smaller from even going, because I was waiting for this giant ass video to finish, and it took literal all night. I even tried to hook up a USB-C cable and I might have said this last week, and pull the files off, and they were locked because they were already still trying to transfer. And I rebooted my phone thinking, oh, well, let me stop that operation. As soon as it comes up, hey, we're going to continue your transfer for you. You're welcome. No, don't do that. And I try to end the process, and it's just like, all right, whatever. So it's just, I'm trying. And I'm not really that mad, because honestly, the videos that I've produced so far, I'm quite happy with. And I think the benefit of the quality is better. It's worth the sacrifice. And I'm still trying to catch up, but I don't know if I'll realistically be able to. Especially also, tomorrow's my birthday, and I really don't want to make anything. But I know I need to. And I'm like right on the cusp of being able to make a couple things. Because I did some work on a program today for a Dogecoin related project. I was working on a program that does screen scraping. Have you heard of this? Where it's like a programming technique where, because like a lot of platforms like Twitch or whatever, like they'll have an API or like a set of commands that they allow you as a programmer to like access, to pull data out of, to do stuff with.
What they did.
And screens, they do. That's just an example of one. So screen scraping is something you can do for just any website, and it basically creates like a
Oh yeah.
spider,
Okay.
and it goes in and like pulls data from like the HTML like division tags and the span tags in the actual HTML code, and then you can do stuff with that data. So I found like a stock ticker that tells me the value of Dogecoin, and I'm gonna do something with that. It's gonna be like a dynamically updating thing. I mean, I'll basically tell you, I'm gonna print a rocket of I'm gonna print a rocket and the dog in the rocket, and so basically he's gonna be on a little servo arm, and he's gonna tilt based on whether or not it's like up for the day or down for the day. Basically, it's really simple, but
Cool.
it's going to be using the actual data to drive it. So it's like one will be like for the to the moon, and then the other one will say hold. And I was considering also putting like a little screen either at the bottom, like on the pedestal, or even getting like I found like these tiny circuit. I think they're called tiny circuits. Screens. They're like ridiculously small. They're like half the size of a dime or something, like an actual LCD screen.
Like a
And
10
I'll,
by 10 pixel.
yeah, it's like stupid small. It might even be like the size of a dime. I'm not exactly sure. But if I could have that as like a quote bubble that the dog was saying, and have him saying to the moon or hold based on which way he's pointing, that's going to add additional complexity, which is going to make it take longer. But it might not be necessary. I don't know. I'm just sort of brainstorming as I'm talking to you guys about it, whether or not I should even do it. But then I've got other projects here with NFC devices where I held the amiibos up on my little video about ideas, because I want to have a little stand. I'll tell you guys, because there's only like 5 people that are probably listening to this podcast.
I was in your room, your room tour, right?
Yes, my room tour / tangent video, and basically I'm just gonna make like a little pedestal and have it like an NFC card reader, which I've got right here for like an Arduino. And basically you put that in the pedestal and you put the amiibo on, and it'll actually read the serial number from inside of the amiibo or the Disney Infinity figure, and I'll take that serial number and use that to drive something. So I was thinking of getting a screen behind the pedestal with, like, let's say Smash Brothers, like the little, like Mario's character trailer, like either like when you choose them or when he wins, there's like a series of animations, of him winning. Have that on the screen behind it, so then when you put the different characters up there, it'll play different videos based on the character you put up there. I don't know.
With the NFC chip on like the Disney Infinity figures and the amiibos, do you? Because I'm curious. Do you happen to know if it is only a serial number that's stored on that chip, or if there's additional data on that NFC chip? So I don't know much about them. I'm curious.
The only exploration I've done so far, I've been able to read them with my phone because I have an NFC reader on my phone as well.
Okay.
And I was actually surprised they even worked. And it said serial number, and a couple of them had an additional thing saying whether they were an amiibo like line figure. And I think the amiibos accept some sort of write back functionality as part of their inherent like design, but I don't know how to access that, and I don't want to break them by doing something accidentally.
Right.
So I'm not really sure beyond that. Basically,
I was just curious.
Yeah. I was just gonna have like a Raspberry Pi, like have a list of videos, and then it's like, if it's this serial number, play this video. If it's this serial number, play this video. So pretty simple on that end.
Yeah, I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, thanks. But again, can I do that in a day? I don't friggin' know. Probably not, considering I've already started on it like 2 days ago. I don't know. I'm trying.
I do have to say that,
Yeah.
that as a result of all this, I have absolutely no qualms whatsoever being able to handle one video a week.
Right?
I'm like,
Yeah.
There's
One video
no
a week
way
is
I
going
would-
to seem like cake after
Yeah,
this.
I know, right?
That's part of the thing that I was hoping I would get out of this. I mean, in a selfish way, because I would always like psych myself out on like a project. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to even like start the video for this project because I just know the process is going to take so long, and it's like analysis paralysis. Like I didn't even want to start it yet just because of the anticipation of me hating it, which is horrible. But this is, like you said, it's like starting to reprogram me a little bit. And like, man, if I only had 5 days to work on a project and then edit video, imagine how good that's going to be.
I know.
Oh, it's
my
funny. The
gosh.
scale of what is expected is so hilarious. Anyway, I'll shut up. I've been talking a lot.
So Donovan, before you were asking just in general, like how's everything going, right? And
Yeah. Just how do you guys feel about this process so far?
I still
Like
feel
I
good
said,
about it.
we're only a third of the way through it.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in the next 20 days,
Yep.
but a lot could have happened in the first 10 days. How do you feel?
Well, I didn't commit to the one video a day in the beginning, but I am trying to do like the 3 a week, even though I'm cheating a little bit. I'm calling a couple of the YouTube shorts that I'm doing videos.
Which is fun.
Yeah, I mean,
That
'cause
counts.
I'm still ending up bringing in your Premiere and editing it and trying to do a little bit of a intentional type of storytelling or video capture instead of just recording something really quick with my phone and putting it up there to call it a video. But it's tough. June is a really awkward month for me because I finish work. My daughter has a birthday party, which means that we usually have about a week to do all the stuff that we didn't get to the last couple of months, on the house and different projects because we have a lot of guests coming over, and our kitchen lighting went out. And we have like these 2 huge 4-foot fluorescent
Hence all the
panels.
spackling.
Yeah, and I didn't want to repair the fixtures. I probably could have bypassed the ballast and put LEDs in there, but I said, well, let's go ahead and redo the area because it's a drop down ceiling with a bunch of crap that I cleaned out. I put up brand new LED lighting panels and had it all done, or I thought it was all done. I have a wiring problem. Some of them they don't turn on. And I recorded it, and that was also going to be another video that would have already been done and up if I didn't have this wiring problem, which I'm probably going to have to solve tomorrow morning. And then the back scratcher fiasco, which didn't work out. So there's 2 videos that I had planned and would have had finished, but they were already fails. So I would already have 3 or 4 videos up at this point. I have another video coming out tomorrow, which is the next Forward Friday, since tomorrow's Friday already. Oh my God, it's another week past.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Crazy.
I think it's going okay, and I'm enjoying it. I like being pushed a little bit, and I find myself more proactive in doing things. I'm shooting 3 different projects at once right now, because I'm still doing full projects, even though I probably shouldn't be. I see what the 2 of you are doing with the quicker turnaround of the videos, but what I found out is I'm having trouble coming with ideas that I could do that quickly.
Me too. And then I start one. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a quick one. I can do 2 today. I'll do my little inspiration video, and then I'll do my like tire tread video for my robot. Nope. Each one of those is gonna be like 15-minute long video because I can't shut the hell
Watch
up.
time, baby.
And I think I also realized that I need to work on doing a more short format video, but how to make it interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to take some notes from the both of you and what you're doing. But I'm looking around going, well, what can I do or talk about that
Is interesting.
would
like people care
yeah.
about. Yeah.
And it's tough. And for myself, I don't think I can. I don't think I should care about numbers right now,
Same.
because even
Yeah.
when I put a lot of effort into something, I'm not getting any views. So I think that I just kind of have to ignore that part of it and go forward.
That's
And like
yeah,
I did the squirrel, I did the squirrel bench video, which I had a lot of fun doing. And
That was so. The biggest travesty is not being able to comment the heck out of your videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's so. I want the world to know, like, as a viewer, how cool I think this video
I
is.
appreciate that.
And it's so hard. And so hard not being able to, because
I think I'm going to do a YouTube
comment
short
on-
specifically yelling at YouTube and asking people, "Can you guys help me?" Because I actually really think it's part of why my channel is doing so poorly right now. In a small way, I think it is. Not that I would have 30 times more views otherwise, but I think it's having enough of an impact that I'm actually having to consider whether or not I need to, if I'm going to continue doing this.
When you made your YouTube channel, did you create it using a Gmail account or like a personalized
Gmail.
Sean?
It's
Gmail?
Gmail, yeah.
Okay, all right. This is gonna sound crazy.
Okay.
But have you considered shutting that YouTube channel down and starting a new one with your own personal account that's not attached to Gmail?
I have a second YouTube channel, which is Geek Builders 2. And comments are on for that channel, if that's what you're talking
You
about.
could. I mean, it's hard because it's starting fresh, but being able to start fresh in a way that your content is unfiltered through that system that all of your current content is passing through and blocking off, comments and stuff like that. Is it worth it for you?
I don't know.
The reason why I ask is because I had this issue several years ago. I
We know, we know.
not a lot of people know this, but like I've been doing YouTube for a long time, and I had this issue, this exact issue with one of my channels being kind of blocked off like yours is. People couldn't comment. I couldn't get any AdSense, anything like that. And it got to the point that I'm just like, I decided to shut the channel down and to redo it on a different channel. And it worked really well. It was hard because I lost, it's basically starting over. Not all your unless you tell them, not all your subscribers are going to know, hey, I need to go here if I want to keep watching this content. But for the sake of, I don't know.
So what I think I'm going to do is let it go like this, organically. Because the other channel I have planned for putting up like actual tutorials and educational type stuff. This is how whether it's like animation tutorials or other things, drawing, painting, stuff like that. I want to do more of that type of content. So if it organically changes and shifts, then I'll consider it. But we'll see.
Okay. Something to consider. Terrible to consider, but something.
No, it's something that I am considering. It just.
The other reason why I ask is because YouTube channels that are associated with the Gmail account are locked to that account and nothing is transferable at all. So it's like if you have a YouTube channel that is associated with like a personal account, like on your own personal domain, you can transfer and you can change settings and change managers and all that other kind of stuff, whereas you don't have that flexibility if you use Gmail for your YouTube account.
Something I'll have to look into a little bit more. So I look forward to seeing what everybody does over the next. We'll see you guys in a week, and we can kind of pick up again. But it's kind of cool. I love the fact that we're doing this, and the fact that we keep pushing the make 30 and 30 and pointing to each other. I'm hoping that helps stir up a little bit, even if the timeline gets extended a little bit in terms of seeing the payoff of it, which I think it might. I know a lot of channels are still struggling. There's no reason why we wouldn't be struggling at the same time. I think things start to pick up during summer. So I'm hoping in July we'll start seeing a little bit of the fruits of our labors here. So we'll be checking back in with this next week. But in the meantime, we decided that we're going to do a little bit of part 2 of our Q&A session, since there were several questions from last week that we didn't get around to answering. And I have a list right here of questions that we will try to tackle. So first question. Since we were talking about origin stories and stuff, was it last week or one of the previous weeks? High school tends to be a pretty pivotal time. Did you guys do anything extra in high school? Sports, clubs, extracurricular activities? What were you guys into?
Yeah, I'll go first. Let's see. So my high school was. My high school. Listen, where do I start? So when I went to high school, I lived in Southern Virginia. It's very rural where I grew up in that part of the Virginia, and I was about 40 minutes one way, 30 to 40 minutes one way to the school. And so it made extracurricular things like really difficult just from a transportation standpoint, for my family to be able to work that out. And like the activity buses like didn't go out that far for some reason, and just various issues. But I was able to get some things in there. I was on the ACE team, which is like a, I don't know if they have this in other states, but it's like a science-y decathlon kind of thing, where it's like, just, you're like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's
Like
like
Mensa?
well, it was a series like you would be selected or you would like try out, and then basically it's kind of like debate team, but instead of debating, it's like science and math like questions, or it's kind of like a trivia-ish kind of thing.
Like a
Pretty,
decathlon, right?
yeah, like a decathlon. It was for science specifically.
That's
Pretty
cool.
nerdy. Uh, Not exactly the most interesting thing. Then I think I did try wrestling. Was the only sport I did in high school for like one semester. I was trying it out, and I think I remember like getting kneed in the head, in the side of the head, and it like completely like socked me out like for the rest of. I think I got a concussion, honestly. I'm not sure, but that was the last time I did that. And I did some martial arts stuff in middle school into high school, but not too much. I was super into Bruce Lee growing up.
It was the
Probably
80s, yeah.
Really?
well, well, when I was in middle school, a friend of mine there's two friends of mine that also shared this interest, and every time we like would buy lunch, school lunch, there was always like 35 cents or something that we would get in change. We would like hand them a dollar. We always get some amount of change back, and we just always like threw all of our collective change in a bin, and we would order like these martial arts like catalogs, like like outfits and like accessories, and like they would have like ninja stars and like size and like all kinds of stuff that kids should not have access to. And so we would like
Just
pool all of our money, and we would be in this guy's basement, in my buddy's basement. He had like several mattresses laid out that we would like throw each other over our shoulders onto the mattress just for soft padding. We 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 had this. We ordered this one thing from the catalog. I don't know why this is the first thing we chose. It seemed like it was like a good idea, but we were trying to kick higher at the time. And this sounds like a Napoleon Dynamite kind of situation now that I think about it. Basically, it had two pulleys on the ceiling that we attached to the ceiling.
oh no!
And there was like this piece that you would attach to somebody's ankle, and you have to like pull it up as you're trying to do a high kick.
No! No!
Didn't they do that like in a kickboxer or
Oh.
Bloodsport, the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie?
It went about as well as you would expect it to go. Oh man! And then, but we actually got really good considering we kind of like trained ourselves, so to speak, in the basement. Like we had a couple standing rules, like no hits to the head and no hits to the groin, because those two things were gonna hurt a lot. But as long as you're not trying to hurt somebody, if we're just doing it in a sporting way, we were able to do some cool stuff, and we got to be able to do like jumping spin kicks and like sweep kicks and all these things. And then we actually took a class like a year later. We actually took actual classes, and they asked us where we had prior training from. I'm not kidding. And we were like, yes, that's enough of accomplishment. We're like, we're out, peace out, practically. You know, like that
in
was.
my basement.
Yeah, that's right. It's like Napoleon Dynamite getting the little cassette tape and going in his room and like dancing, you know what I mean, for like 16 hours a day or whatever. That's what it sort of felt like. And
Oh
so
my god.
the culmination of this, we kept tossing all of our money in. We ended up getting these ninja accessories where you would like put your foot in. It's like a little like a sandal with like spikes that stick out the front of the sandal, so you could like climb up trees and crap. You would jam your feet into the bark, and then we actually ended up getting one set of sparring gear. Why we didn't get two sets? We just didn't have enough money. We got one set. So there's like one person that was like had the honor of being the dummy that gets the living blank beat out of them, right? And it was hysterical, but it was so much fun. I wouldn't have traded that time for anything. And we had like the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, like Bruce Lee's actual book that he wrote, and we memorized that damn thing front to back. We had like ninja like training books that were like supposedly banned, you know, and all those sorts of things. Like, yeah, it was pretty fun. I even had a ninja meditation book that I tried over a course of several weeks when I think I was like 14 or something, and I don't know what I did, but it scared the living crap out of me because I don't know if I got into like a mental state or something like that. I wasn't on drugs, but it sure as heck felt like it. It was like you had to like it had this like breathing exercise, and I probably was like hyperventilating,
Hyperventilating.
yeah, or something like that. But it was super weird, and I never did it again. But yeah, I was super
I
into
don't
that stuff.
know why
Yeah,
there is an association between kids who were geeks or nerds as kids and being being interested in martial arts. Cause oh my gosh,
you
I
too.
think it's a
it's
sign of the
funny
times though
because
too.
It
I
is.
mean, in the '80s was like I mean, I'm a little bit older than you guys, but in the '80s was a huge push because of Karate Kid,
Sure.
and other things that really put it into a little bit more of the spotlight. And I was heavily into it too. I didn't take
oh my
formal
gosh,
classes until I was a senior in high school, though. But yeah, I was there too.
I remember every time a new Ninja Gaiden game would come out, like the first article in Nintendo Power would be like how to be a ninja and like tie a scarf like a
Dude,
ninja, how to tell direction by looking at a tree stump, and
I
how
bought
to
a yeah, I bought a full-on
stars.
ninja outfit from that magazine too, and we would have this game where we would like run through our neighbor's yard, and like you would get dinged in points if they saw you. So we would like try to get like look, not it being like creepy or anything, just from a ninja stealth perspective, and just like we would just run around. It was so fun.
Oh my
That was a long
gosh.
answer.
Remember,
I'm sorry.
there used to be a show on YouTube called Ask a Ninja that is still one of the best shows on YouTube. It was fantastic. If you haven't seen it, not geeking out about it, just if you haven't seen it, go and watch it because it
I
is
think I
so
remember
good.
that.
I
Yeah.
think I do too,
Ask
vaguely.
a Ninja.
Oh my gosh, I
My
forgot
son
about
and I
that.
sing that song because him and I watch some of those videos from time to time. And it's got a catchy theme song, so good martial arts. I did it because I was getting beat up in school all the time. So mine was more for like personal protection. My dad's best friend uh is like a martial arts guru, and he would take me to him to try and learn how to defend myself from kids that were beating me up in school. And so mine was less like interest in becoming a ninja and more like I don't want to keep getting beat up. Ugh.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I was a halfback in football, if you can believe that. I'm joking. I wasn't in football. I did play rugby for a little while. I was a hooker. Not a lot of people know that about me. I was a hooker in high school because I was the smallest guy on the team.
In
Was it
recording, I got it, Wes. I got it, Wes.
Yep.
was it
We'll use that later.
was it in Vegas?
No, no, no. We played against Canadian teams because there was no formal rugby teams in Montana, and so we formed our own league, and we were the Bumblebees. Our colors were blue, black, and white, and I was the smallest guy in the team because a lot of football players came over after the football season was over because they were interested in just pounding heads with people, and I was 6 foot tall, 140 pounds, and I was the smallest guy on the team, so I was the hooker. But if you don't know about rugby, it's terrible because it's like football but without pads and very close knit. So there would be a scrum. Everybody would line up and link arms and links heads, and they would be in a huddle, I guess you can call it. And they would throw the football into the middle of the huddle. And Hooker's job, my job, was to run into the middle of that madness and get the ball and come out. I didn't last very long. I played for about half a season before I'm like, this is not for me. But this may not be surprising for people that know me, but I was a huge band and theater geek.
I never would have
So
guessed.
yeah, I did theater. I did musicals. I did speech. I did humorous oral interpretation. I was really good at humorous oral interpretation.
You don't
Did a
say.
lot of Bill Cosby in my humorous oral interpretation, which
I'm not sure you want to admit that now.
doesn't age well, but also a
Are there
lot of
drinks
Dave
involved?
Barry because Dave Barry is hilarious for speech enthusiasts. But whenever you think of like atypical geek kid, I was that atypical geek kid. Big glasses, super nerdy, button up shirts, no self esteem, like chess club, chess club, band, drama, all that kind of stuff. That was me. That was me. And swimming. I loved swimming. I was really good at swimming until I lost part of my arm, but otherwise, I was really good at swimming. So that was my high school. What was your high school, Sean?
So in high school, even though I was pretty academically inclined, my parents weren't very keen on endorsing that side of things because they wanted me out of the house as soon as possible. But what they did believe in was sports. So in high school, I was pretty much an athlete. So wrestling, baseball, and track were the sports that I did. And baseball was my first love. My goal was to play professionally. I thought I was on track until my junior year in high school, where I got in a fight. Actually, I should say fight. Got in an argument with my with the varsity coach and told me to basically not bother coming out for the team my next year. So I never played baseball again. So wrestling I
Wow.
did pretty good, but got kind of burned out and got injured during one of the matches, and that's really about it. And then ended up having problems with my foot my senior year, so most of my sporting days were done at that point and had to shift pretty severely, which is then when I got into art and animation the following year in college. So yeah, high school was pretty straightforward, just sports, wrestling, baseball, and track, and that's about it. I did martial arts my senior year too.
There it
Formally,
is.
I wasn't pulling off Bruce Lee moves in a basement like Wes, but my wrestling background helped out a lot with martial arts, especially when we started grappling.
Yeah.
And my sensei was, see, I'm about 5'10", 5'11", depending on what shoes I'm wearing. And my sensei was about 5'5". And the thing is that I was able to get him down and subdue him pretty well. But the thing is with wrestling, it ends when you pin the other person. So I didn't have a referee there, kind of like, filling out and then, smacking the mat. I didn't know the submission part in martial arts. So that's where he would wrap his legs around my throat and basically choke me out. And like, okay, I guess I still have a couple things to learn. So I had the first part down pretty good, but I didn't have the finishing part figured out yet. But I only did, once again, because of issues with my foot, I didn't do it much more than about a year, even though I loved it. I loved martial arts during that time. Yeah, so manage that. That's one question down. We have a bunch more. If you want to try to tackle the next,
Yeah, I'll
another
try to
couple.
be more succinct with my answer.
No, don't hold back. I mean, it's a great story.
That's a pretty funny
Um,
story.
Let's
Just
do this one
imagine.
first.
Oh man.
I can't get that image out of my head.
I mean,
Let's
I
do
ended
this
up
one.
being able to kick pretty well.
Thank
I'm
you,
not gonna
Wes.
lie.
Thank you.
Let's do this one first. I think this one will be quicker. What is a talent that you wish you had? I'll go first. I wish I could sing, and I can't. And I know people who say, "Well, you could learn how to do it. All you have to do it." No, I can't sing. It just I sound worse than like a wounded duck. Just I can't sing. I don't have that ability. I wish I did. Yeah.
I would kind of agree with that sentiment. I wish I could sing well. I have this bedtime song that I sang to my two older kids, and it's funny because when I try to sing to my baby, she just pushes my face away and she's like, "No, no, no, no." Like, am I that bad? Okay, no songs for you, I guess.
Dang, that's harsh. Yeah, I guess music-related things as well. I would say. I had several situations growing up. I felt that I had different talents, but none of them were that applicable when it came to like a talent show type scenario at school. Like you can't like if you're into art, you can't really demonstrate that at a talent show. It's like the scale of time that's required to produce your skill is not really applicable unless it's like an abstract kind of random or chainsaw like ice sculpture or something like that. Or so, I don't know. Yeah, I just wish something was a little more time sensitive skill that I could like pull out. of like my pocket that to do something impressive. Like I could play the acoustic guitar and do like a handful of riffs from like 90 songs, like a lot of guys were able to do at the time, and that was fun. Uh, but yeah, I've never really been terribly musically inclined. Although I can sing in Rock Band pretty well, I would say. I usually get pretty good scores. If the scoring is anything to believe in Rock Band, which I think it is. But besides that, yeah, I would say musical related.
Imagine getting a record deal off your Rock Band score. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, I also kind of it made me feel bad too when I learned that Dave Grohl, he said that he played Rock Band and played his own songs, and he would get like terrible scores. I'm like, how does that even make sense? Like, that's a
There's a flaw in the system.
yeah.
I think that was the three of us, right?
Yeah, that was.
Okay, so mentor or teacher that had the biggest impact.
In terms of what we're doing now, or just in general?
Could be just in life. I could go first again on
Yeah.
this one. So it would be the instructor that convinced me to change from being a computer information system major to being an art major, and that probably had the biggest impact on my life. His name was Bob Ronchetti. He was a art professor at Mount San Antonio College in Walnut, California. There's a lot of really well-known and famous people that went through his class that went on to fame and fortune, I guess, within art, animation, film. If either of you have heard the name Rick Baker before, he does like special effects, makeup, and stuff. One of the legends of the field. He was actually one of Bob's students during that time. And every now and then I'll come across somebody that went to school there to study art. And, oh, did you know Bob? And everybody knew him. He's one of the most friendly, most helpful people I've ever known. And it's actually probably one of the main reasons why I'm a teacher now. And it isn't just because of the influence of art and learning how to see the world in a different way, but also the nurturing aspect of making anybody think and feel and learn how to do those things, which I never thought I could. And I mean, I'm still learning. I'm still, always a student, but if I look at where I had started and where I finished, even with the program and in different classes of his, it's pretty amazing. And so I attribute a lot of my success in education to him. And even the stuff that I do now, in terms of creating and looking at things in different ways with a creative eye, is all because of him.
That was your art teacher, you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is also my art teacher. Miss Jones is her name, and she definitely helped nurture things that I had interest in and other people had interest in. Like, she never would talk down to anybody, and she would always try to find something that someone's interested in and like help reinforce that or strengthen whatever that interest is. And it is as an example, she allowed me to have access to a type and demonstrate a type of art that was kind of new at the time. I had a Super Nintendo and had Mario Paint and absolutely loved it. All right, and I love doing animations with it. I would, in Mario Paint, if you're not familiar, you had a couple different options, not very good options. You could, if you did the largest screen size possible for an animation, you could only do a 4-frame animation. That's it. And as the screen size shrunk, you could do like I think up to like a 9 or a 12-frame animation, maybe. But then your window is a lot smaller because they didn't have enough memory to be able to do full screen animation like that. And I did other things like do some music, add some music in there, and other interesting things. Well, I told her about this, and she was like, "You must bring it. You have to bring it to class. I want to see this." And so she actually got the AV department to like wheel those giant tube TVs on the stands into class. And she had that one in the corner. Like, we all had like our project that we were going to do for that semester. She let me do my art project in Mario Paint. Like, how awesome is that? Like, the animation program was not a thing on a computer really back then, at least at a high school accessible level. And this was in like 94, 95, somewhere around there. Like yeah, that's about right. Maybe 96. I get the time a little bit mixed up because she also, I guess I happened to do fairly well in that class, and she allowed me to jump from Art 1 to Art 3. I didn't have to take Art 2, which I thought was pretty awesome. Um, and then I got a lot of experience in like doing watercolor and sculpture. They had a kiln there, and I did a Bruce Lee sculpture, which I wish I had because it was friggin' awesome. He was like doing a high kick, which I wish I could have done. Right, going back to the high kick thing, he was doing a kick, like a kung fu type kick, really like as Bruce Lee does, and he was like on top of like a little mountainy platform, like a rock outcropping, and then there was a dragon that I had that was burrowing through the rock and like twisting around him and coming out like it was red. So because the dragon's kind of like his symbol, and it was really good for like a 10th grader or whatever I was at the time. And then I did some watercolors and some pastels. And I should probably grab some of that art sometime and show you guys. Just I still have some of it, which is kind of fun. Yeah, I would agree. My art teacher definitely set the stage for things that I didn't even know were coming for me, and interests that I still have. Right, so that's cool.
Man, in terms of what I'm doing now, like the people that impacted me the most are my mom and dad. I mean, because a lot of the basic skills that I learned in like creating and designing and crafting and all that kind of stuff, I learned from them. Because I didn't really learn it from anybody else. But in terms of like a person that impacted my life the most, when I got my job at Disney and moved down to Florida, we were assigned roommates, and one of my roommates happened to be a guy named Brandon, and him and I became really good friends. And at that time, I had just had like 3 major car accidents on Wyoming. My life was like terrible, and I just wanted to get out of that state so bad that when this opportunity to go work for Disney came up, I went to go work for Disney. Because like I was like, my life is so bad. And he was a really good friend to me in helping me to figure out like just finding a direction for my life and doing what I wanted to do rather than just responding to life as it happens to me. And I introduced him to his wife, which is actually, I was dating a girl, he was dating a girl. One night we just switched, and that girl ended up being his wife. So you're welcome. But him and I are still good friends, and I can't understate the impact that both him and his wife had on my life at that time, and you know where I am today just because of them.
Very cool.
One way to
So,
put it.
say that again?
I said that's one way to put it.
That's awesome.
It is. All right. So I think that final question I talked to you guys earlier, I think we should save as a full topic for another show. So how about some rapid fire questions?
Let's do it.
And we'll try to keep them somewhat quick.
Pizza or tacos?
Pizzas. Pizza.
I'm gonna have to say pizza too.
Also depends on the taco. I don't like hard shell tacos.
It does. It depends on the pizza, but
It depends on the pizza, yeah.
Well, your favorite pizza versus your favorite taco. I mean, it's
sure.
pretty okay. iPhone or Android?
Android.
iPhone.
I used to be Android, but now I'd have to say iPhone.
Yeah, I bought into the ecosystem. It's hard for me to change. Oh well. I'll
The
live with it.
usability, just the user experience of an iPhone it's terrible how good an experience it is compared to trying to use an Android.
I just like things to work.
Look
at this
at me
point,
weird
and
all you want. I
don't want to have to fiddle around or fix. I know.
yeah.
PC or Mac?
PC.
PC.
I've never used a Mac. So PC.
Oh. I use a Mac all the time at work, but I still like my home PC. Chicken or steak?
Steak.
Either.
Good steak.
Beach or
or
mountains?
Tofurkey mountains.
So
Well,
for
actually, no.
Tofurkey, no.
Turducken?
Uh, Turducken, yeah. I'd say beach. It's harder. It's harder
Okay.
on me now, but I still love the beach more.
Mountains.
Mountains. Actually, Taiwan was a perfect combination of mountains and beach, so I had the best of both worlds at one time. But yeah,
Whatever with
mountains.
you. Okay.
North Carolina has both as well.
Oh, we have them all here too, but whatever. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Trek.
Wars.
You guys are fired.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
nice knowing you.
New Star Trek or old Star Trek? Which Star Trek? TNG, original series,
TNG.
TNG.
You say new Star Trek like what's
Like J.J.
currently out
Abrams
now?
Star Trek? Or
Sure. Out of all the different, I guess eras, which one do you prefer?
TNG.
I
After
would-
watching an episode, the thoughts that those like provoke in me last longer than the episodes, and that is like quintessential awesome for me. Like Star Wars, I don't really think about the thing out that much longer after I watch it. It doesn't like persist, but like Star Trek actually asks questions that I'm like pondering long after the show ended, and I think that's really awesome, and that stands out for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, for the shows, I would say TNG, but for the movies, I prefer the J.J. Abrams.
Man, that's
But
tough.
that's only for the movies.
I love the new stuff like Lower Decks.
Yeah, Lower Decks.
Low
is
Decks. It's so good.
I haven't seen it.
But some of the best Star Trek was definitely like the old stuff. The most memorable.
Here's a quick dumb one. Most used emoji.
great. Thinking face.
And what, just in general or like
Yeah.
in
If you're
Discord? Because
if you're to
Discord,
look
we
through-
have our own emojis.
That's true.
well, the
Speaking
the
of
power-
Discord,
power
we have a
glove thumbs
Patreon
up.
exclusive Discord that we have our own emojis.
We have our own emojis.
They're pretty fun, I must admit. They're pretty fun.
you can only access them if you're a Patreon member.
That's
so
true.
there's a
We have a power
bit of
glove
incentive.
thumbs up, which is pretty awesome.
that is probably the best one I've seen. Yeah, I think the one I use the most is probably the fire or the geek one of the geek glasses. So
Sure.
those are mine. Who would you want to play you in a movie about your life?
Uh,
I'm gonna say Chris Evans.
apparently, I bear resemblance to
Kavanaugh, right?
Oh.
Loki guy.
Oh,
Tom Hiddleston.
What's his name?
oh, I
Tim-
see it. No, not Tom
Tim
Hiddleston.
Hiddleston.
No, I see what
Tom
you just
Hiddleston.
said.
Kavanaugh.
From Flash.
Yes,
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, yeah,
I know. I've told Donovan that for years.
that's insane.
Yeah.
So apparently him, because we look alike.
Yes.
That's
I guess.
usually no.
Yeah. You don't even get a choice. It's automatically him.
I don't get
I
a
would-
choice.
It's
I
your
would say-
doppelganger.
I would say Zach Braff.
That'd be fun.
Because he's kind of quirky and has like silly sense of humor and sarcastic, and I think that's.
Ooh,
why I
Zachary Levi.
Okay.
If I had a choice.
Nintendo or Sega?
I had that written here.
Did you?
SNES or Genesis, right on the top. See that?
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Duh. Yeah, dude. There was like, at the time, for those of you that are not aware, there was like it was like a Coke or Pepsi type of situation, or Ford and Chevy,
It was.
Super Nintendo or Genesis. Like people had their ground that they were standing on, and I had like so many facts to like destroy them on. I memorized like how many possible colors there were, like 32,768 possible colors that the Super Nintendo can have as a selectable palette, how many it can display on screen at a time. Oh, Genesis, oh, that's not really a 16-bit system for the audio. That's actually, like I was like diving in, like, what is blast processing doing for you? Like that's a made up thing. Da da da. Like, yeah, I could go on and on about that. And I actually have friendships that last to this day. One of my best friends, we met over like Super Nintendo, like nerding out on the school bus on that like 20 30-minute drive to school. That's what forged our friendship, was in Nintendo trivia.
So
The
it's like
ad
that Big
campaigns that were
Bang episode when Sheldon discusses the differences between the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Yeah,
the ad campaigns that were running during that time helped fuel a lot of that too.
that's true. Sega does, Nintendo don't.
Yep. All right. So what superpower would you want? For me, flight.
That's really
It's
hard.
it's hard because the pragmatic part of my brain, I would love to be able to speak every language in the world. Like to understand every language. That
There's an
like
app for that.
the linguistic part of me like would love that. That would be so cool. But telekinesis, there is so much you could do with telekinesis, including flight, that is just not limited to
Well,
flight.
I would say
That's a
teleport.
cheat.
I would say teleportation. So that also could be like flight. It's more falling than flight, but I guess constant falling.
Yeah.
Falling with style.
Falling with style.
See, the flight, I would say flight too, but I want to be able to specifically fly in space, and just having the ability for flight will not grant you that ability. So it depends on how like pedantic you want to be about it. So invisibility would be a cool one too, but that's just sneaky. That's my ninja background coming out.
Cool.
I would love to be able to teleport just so I don't have to commute anywhere.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Or like being able to function without sleeping. Can you imagine how much I would get done?
Let's do about 3 more of these.
Yep.
What is the one food that you cannot bring yourself to eat?
Hummus.
Hummus is pretty good.
Nasty.
So there's a lot of foods that I won't eat, but the one that I come across the most often where it's an issue is hard-boiled eggs. I cannot eat a hard-boiled egg.
That comes up often.
Really?
Well, I mean, because potato salads and certain things will have like a hard-boiled egg in it, like
Okay.
chopped up or like the yolk. Can't do it. Bad experience as a kid. Never got over it. Can't stand it.
I ate a lot of really weird stuff when I lived overseas. And the one thing I would never want to eat again is pig's foot.
Pig's foot?
Would not be able. Oh, it's so bad. It's like pure fat. It is so like eating octopus where the tentacles stick to the inside of your mouth. I would do that again before eating pig's foot because it's so bad, so bad.
US.
You said the food, right?
Yeah.
I said hummus.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. All right, next one. What would your personal theme song be? Like if a song started playing when you walked in a room, what would you want it to be?
The Darkwing Duck theme.
There's a song called Intro by a group called the XX that I really like. It's just a really good song with a good beat. It kind of hard to demonstrate it right here, but look it up.
Goes
good
back
song.
to the not singing thing, right?
Well, there's no vocals in it, so I just
Okay.
love the.
What beatbox?
Man, this kind of one makes me ask the question like, what music album had the most impact on you growing up?
Ooh.
Because I think my song would probably be Touched by Vast. Probably. That's a hard question to answer because music is changing all the time. And I don't want to be relegated to one song, but if I had to be
Yeah.
relegated to one song, it'd probably be that one. It's really good. Either
We should
that
have
or
a
a
full
Nine Inch
episode about
Nails
just
song.
music.
I would
Yeah.
like to, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should.
Let me ask one as a teaser.
Yeah.
First compact disc you ever owned, Sean?
What the hell is the name?
I haven't heard of that.
Trying to remember It was it had the song "What If God Was One of Us" on it. I don't remember the singer's name. It's not Tracy
Joan,
Chapman. It's not,
Joan,
Dude.
Joan,
yeah.
Joan. Is it Joan?
Joan Chapman?
No, no. You're
No.
thinking Tracy Chapman, but it's not her.
No.
Uh,
Joan Osborne?
uh,
Joan Osborne. Wait, that doesn't sound right. No, that wasn't it then. I can't remember. It was something like that. I guess I don't remember it then.
Oh.
I can't remember her name. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I guess I don't remember. The second one I owned was Soundgarden, Blackwell Sun. So maybe I'll just use that as my answer.
My dad was a DJ growing up, and so he had a bajillion CDs. The first CD I ever bought on my own, I think, was "The Fragile" by Nine Inch Nails on a
It's Joan,
swim meet.
yeah. It's Joan Osborne, by the way. Thank you. Ding. Point for me.
Ding. All right, point for Wes.
On a swim meet, huh?
Yeah, it was an overnight swim meet, and somebody told me how good that album was, and I really wanted to get it, and I didn't have any money to get it, so somebody lent me the money, and I got it. And as everybody was out partying amongst themselves, I sat in my room with headphones and just listened to 2 albums worth of music for the entire evening, and it was amazing.
I think my third album was Super Unknown with Soundgarden with Black Hole Sun on it. I think that's right.
That's the second one I ever owned. So yeah.
Garden.
The first one I ever
Awesome.
owned was The President's United States of America with
Oh.
Peaches and Lump on it.
That's a good album. Yeah.
Beaches.
Yeah. I think there was a song called Kitty, which is not appropriate, but it was hilarious. Peaches isn't
Apparently,
appropriate either.
Peaches wasn't either.
No.
Not that I got it at the time,
Not
but
if you knew the subtext.
No.
Okay, so
All
one
right.
more question.
Yep.
And I'll let you guys pick between strangest place you've fallen asleep, scariest ride you've ever been on, or what kids movie is scary or disturbing to you.
I fell asleep. Strangest place I've fallen asleep, I would have to say, is standing in line waiting to eat dinner in the Navy boot camp. We would have to stand this is a phrase they used in boot camp to tell you how close to stand to other people. You have to stand nuts to butts, is what they would say. Just to pack as many people in to the chow hall as possible, and when everybody would advance, it was interesting. But people would fall asleep standing up like a friggin' horse because you're so exhausted. But if someone got busted for being asleep, everybody had to pay the penalty for it. So we as a homogenous blob of people standing in line, the people in the inside could fall asleep, but then when it was time to move forward, they kind of get nudged by the person behind you gently to wake them up, and then you'd fall asleep again while standing up. It was weird. It was super weird. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not as fun as it sounds.
Go ahead.
Strangest place that I've fallen asleep is also unsafe, which is probably, not recommended. Also not recommended. Falling asleep at the wheel of my car going 70 miles an hour on the freeway, waking up 3 lanes over is not fun. But I was working night shift security for a while, and just starting to take its toll on me, especially after working 14 hours, 16 hours. I'm at that point. Luckily enough, there wasn't anybody on the freeway. Yeah, so there we go.
I have a tendency to fall asleep in the most random places. I've fallen asleep in a pool. I've fallen asleep buried under luggage in the back of a car. I remember one time when I was a kid, I was probably my daughter's age, 8 or 9. My room was super messy, and my mom was like, "Don't come out of your room until it's clean," that kind of thing. And I didn't want to clean my room, so I just took everything I owned and shoved it into a big pile in the corner of my room, and I crawled into that pile and poked my little head out and fell asleep.
Like E.T.?
My mom took a picture. Huh?
Like E.T. when he's like trying to
Yeah, like
masquerade
E.T..
in the closet of toys.
And I'm pretty sure my mom still has a picture of this huge pile of like stuff in my room and my little face poking out of the middle of it, totally asleep.
That's awesome.
I'm sure that picture still exists somewhere.
All right,
Scary
so
ride and scary movie would be a fun conversation for another time.
yeah, we have a bunch more rapid fires that maybe we should just do every so often as
I
part
like
of an episode.
Yeah.
So before we start talking about what we're geeking out about, because I do want to talk about what we're geeking out about, I want to bring up that we have 2 birthdays to celebrate today. The first is today is the 5th anniversary of the Making Geeks podcast. 5 years ago,
Happy birthday!
June 10th, 2016 was our very first episode. 220 episodes ago, I believe, at that point, if my counting is correct.
Wow.
So, happy anniversary.
Wow. I didn't get you guys anything. But
You're here.
That's significant, though.
220 episode
It
material.
is 5 years. Think about where we were 5 years ago.
See, other people
And
can
how-
blow through, like, other podcasts can, like, oh, we're on episode 300 because they do, like, 2 every week or whatever. But for the amount of time that is existed, like, there's not many that are that much older than us. So we're kind of up there, I think.
Yeah, we may not have as many episodes, but we
Yeah.
are still going strong.
Exactly.
And I think it's awesome. So, happy anniversary to you guys.
Wow.
And second birthday, happy birthday, Wes.
Thank you.
I know that your birthday is technically tomorrow, since we're recording this on Thursday. So happy birthday.
It's tomorrow somewhere.
Yep, tomorrow somewhere.
Thank you.
You'll get another formal happy birthday tomorrow on the actual day, but since we're recording today. And for anybody listening, send Wes a happy birthday greeting. I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
That's one thing I actually
Even though by the
like
time they're
doing.
listening, it'll be a day late, but that's okay.
I like responding to all the Facebook things. I make it a point, even though it takes me forever, to actually write a response or at least a GIF instead of just a thumbs up, because I like to do that. So, but it takes a while.
GIF is my favorite form of communication.
Me too. You guys know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So now that we have our birthdays taken care of, what are you guys geeking out about?
Well, I did watch episode 1 of Loki. I'm not going to say anything about it.
Oh my gosh.
I watched it, but I have to watch it again. I fell asleep during it last night.
Oh, that's not because of the
that's-
content.
No, that's
No.
not a reflection on the show. I've been absolutely beat, but I am going to watch it again. It had nothing to do with the show itself.
It was excellent.
It was good.
And there are several things that I want to make from it. The aesthetic is really cool.
I
That's all
love
I'll
it.
say. Yeah.
In fact, I think I saw a couple of things that I want to make last night too, so we might need to talk.
Yep.
I think there's one super obvious that we might have to talk about overlapping on. Well, we'll talk later.
We should.
I am geeking out about a trailer that came out today for a Netflix show, which is He-Man Revelations. And I thought it looked great. I think it looked great.
Wait. Is this live action?
No,
cartoon?
animated.
That's Kevin
Animated.
Smith's, right?
Yeah, it's Kevin
Okay.
Smith's.
Mhm.
And I also did a YouTube short today to kind of reinvigorate my 3D printed He-Man sword video that I did. So I put a YouTube short about that out today as a reminder. But my son and I sat down and watched it, and we saw the transformation scene for He-Man. And they finally did it right, where Prince Adam is like a scrawny little kid and transforms into this big muscle-bound thing. And I thought it was awesome. I loved it. In fact, I'll probably go watch the trailer a couple more times. I'm in. I like it.
I'm looking forward to watching it.
I'm honestly geeking out about my class that I'm taking with Mark Rober. I know a lot of people don't have very good feelings about him right now, and so that's some of the feedback that I've gotten in my in my comments and my stuff that I've put online about me taking his class. But beside the fact, I'm really glad that I took this class. It was hard for me to convince myself to do it, but now that I've done it, I wish I would have done it sooner. It's helped spark a level of creativity in me that is pairing perfectly with the 30-day challenge. And I'm hoping it will positively impact everything that I do in the future.
Very cool. So do you want to go first? We're kind of like out of order on
Sure.
our end of show wrap up. So
Let's thank our patrons over at patreon.com/makinggeeks. Those patrons are awesome. They're super active in our exclusive Discord channel. We love interacting with them on our game servers that we have. Hopefully, we're going to start up another one very soon. And also, just they always have a lot of fun stuff to say on our videos, and they're a great bunch of people. We love all of them, especially the ones that we love the most are the top patrons: Square Splinter, Clinton, and Jordan. Thank you guys so much. We have no favorites, but you guys are our favorites. But I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Not in any particular order.
nope. And we'd also like to hear from you, not just from our patrons or people that we hear from in the live chat, but we'd also like to hear from you directly. And you can do that on the contact page on our website. You can send suggestions for the show, questions. You can send some rapid fire questions or just general questions you'd like to have us answer on air. And you can listen to past episodes of the show right there on your favorite browser of choice at makinggeeks.com.
And I'm sure you've already done it. But if you haven't already, you can follow us individually on our social medias. Sean, you can find it Geek Builders. Wes, you can find it Geeksmithing. And me, you can find it Once Upon a Workbench.
You could listen to our live stream every Thursday night at 6:30 Pacific time, and then you just do the normal conversion for whatever your time zone is. And I want to thank you to everybody listening in the live chat. It always makes it a little bit more enjoyable doing the show with a little bit of a live audience, and you can hear new episodes of the show every Saturday on your favorite podcast player of choice. So from all of us, to all of you, it's been 5 years. See how many more years we keep going. Have a great night.
See you guys.
See ya.